Namaskaram. Thank you for joining Guru Yoga today. My name is Cariaga and we're doing restorative practice. So everything is going to be on the ground and I welcome you to this yoga and meditative practice. And if you are new, go at your own pace. Don't feel that you need to get into every posture. We go whatever works for you. And if you are more experienced or more advanced, go what you like to do. We go with different options and we go from there. So let's start off sitting right on a bolster or block. And mind you, if you have any props you want to add, straps, blocks, bolsters, pillows, feel free to do so, even a blanket towards the end in your Shavasana. But let's begin. Yes, as we sit comfortably at the front of your mat, palms facing down, we'll relax the shoulders. And I want you to slowly take the awareness, right? At the moment we have the eyes open. I want you to slowly bring the eyes to shutting down. Close the eyes and just feel the breath starting to come in and out of the body. Effortlessly. The function of your breath, the primary function is for your existence, for you to be alive. So I want you to embrace that next inhale, right, as if it's your first breath you've taken as soon as you were born. And the exhale, just releasing, letting go. So I want you to involve your breath within your practice. Right? As we tend to take our breath for granted, knowing or thinking or expecting it to be there at all times. But in some cases, it may be there one day and maybe not the other. So use your breath wisely. Right? Take the time to slow down, to relax, to calm, to restore. So as your breath continues to deepen, really feel the expansion of that diaphragm, pushing the breath down towards the floor as you inhale, as well at the same time lifting it up towards the chin, and then expanding it outwardly as you exhale. So feel this expansion, breathing in, and this continued expansion as you exhale. So this pranayama, this breath, will help you with energy, with focus, with concentration, and with cleansing or purification. So when we restore ourselves, one of the main things we do when we restore is we sleep or rest. Sometimes get a massage. When we practice yoga, it's the breath that is the guide for this restoration, for us to rejuvenate, for us to replenish. Yes, we have requirements of food that we transform into our body, unto us, and that transforms or produces energy. But it's your breath that you need to focus on and how the energy is directed. So as you sit lofty, right? Nice long spine, chest wide, shoulders relaxed, and even have a slight lift of the chin as you're looking somewhere in between the middle of your forehead or just in the vicinity of your eyebrows. And depending on what you did today, what you've experienced, it is no longer, does not exist. This experience is you sitting on the mat and finding ways to maintain this joy, this happiness, this inner peace. So begin to send the breath into every cell in your body, right? This expansion. You'll start to feel it because you know the difference between just breathing either thoracically or diaphragmatically or even just through the throat. It's a different sensation. I want you to observe that sensation because you want to make yourself whole when it comes to rest, rejuvenation, replenishment, right? Not just certain parts of your body, not just certain parts of your mind or your emotion. Everything, right? Well-being is about this wholeness. you take one more inhale, lift the chest, and then a slow, purposeful breath out. And then taking the hands in prayer to your chest, thumbs connecting to the sternum. It's this hand gesture, right? Atmananjali, this divine hand gesture that is known worldwide and possibly universally. And that we see the divinity within each other as we see it in ourselves. And that's the term namaste. And it's connecting to positive, uplifting energy from others, from nature, from the universe. That help restore balance. Balance mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually, obviously, and energetically. And it is this balance that will not only give you this fulfilled life, but it may extend it, it may prolong it. One more inhale. And a joyous breath out. And then slowly turning the head to the left. Keep the chest nice and wide for the spine. Continue lifting. And again, initiating this turn as you exhale. Relaxing everything in the body and then slowly lifting the chin and drawing it towards the left side. Breathe in, come back to center, and then exhale. Switch sides, crown long, inhale, and then we turn to the right on the breath out. Again, this rotation is initiated by your breathing, but on a physical level, it's your left shoulder now that's going to get you to turn, open up the chest. Still activating Mula Bandha, pelvic floor, to support the base of the spine. Breathing in. And then returning back to center. Exhale. Now coming forward, take the hands, palms facing down, onto the knees. All right, you're gonna have a little bit of a push down, but using more of the upper body to get you to lean forward and press the knees towards the floor. It's not necessarily the knees need to touch the ground, but I want you to extend the spine forward. Right, back of the neck lifting, and the chest widening. Possibly looking in between the eyebrows. Even with the eyes shut. It's your third eye that can see with your two physical eyes when they're closed. Seeing within, seeing without. Seeing what needs to be restored, or observing what needs to be restored. All you need is the resources and the technologies in order to replenish and rejuvenate the self. Just like you renovating your house, your room, car, whatever it is. You need the right resources before you start. So then you have to have the method or the technology on how to do it. And once you have those in place, then it becomes a source of creativity to get you to restore, bring back to once was, if it's that what you're after. Breathe in. And then back to center. Exhale. Beautiful. All right. So now we're going to take our right shoulder towards the right knee. All right. You can use your form if you need to, if you're not quite down towards the ground. Otherwise, the right shoulder slowly connects. You can stay on the block or off it. From this position, chin towards the floor. And that left arm, you can either take it in front of you or across to that right side. So you're reaching across, you're going to feel a stretch from the left side of the torso, right? While continuing to press the left hip away from the left arm. Letting gravity, letting your breath do the job. Inhale again. And then slowly come back to center. Exhale. Come back up. Just observe the self with the eyes closed. And again, doing what is required, all right? What is necessary in order for you to bring back balance. And usually with balance, you have joy, you have happiness. The body's in balance. Your life is in balance. So many aspects of balance that are required, or things that you need to do to acquire. So it comes with this practice of yoga, that it must be committed. You have to have 100% effort in what you're doing in order to succeed or achieve whatever it is you want within yourself. Otherwise, what's the point, right? Might happen by accident or chance. But when you have that direction, that focus, and that purpose to invest in yourself, then chances are it'll happen. Breathe in, and then we switch sides on the exhale. So left shoulder now, either to the knee. You can place a pillow or a block on top of that to bridge the gap, and either taking that right arm wide or further away. Chin towards the floor. So when you're in this position, or any position, you want to find balance, right? Between all the things that are supporting you that are connected to the ground. So the hands, the knees, the hips, the core, all these things are required for the technology of yoga to replenish you, to heal you, to empower you. Whatever it is your purpose in doing yoga. Continue to take the breaths a little bit deeper. Inhaling. And then emptying. Fill the lungs. Go lower towards the floor as you exhale. And then slowly come back up. Take your time. So we're stretched a little bit through here. Right? So name us a twist. So switch legs. Whatever leg you had on front or on top. We'll go the opposite. And with the palms facing up this time, on tops of the knees, I want you to draw the eyes to shut. And just observe yourself in this posture. And then connect your thumb to your index finger. This hand gesture, widely used within the practice of yoga, maybe the most famous of all the postures. with your hands, representing the unity between, or unification between your individual self and the universal self, the higher self, this consciousness, this chitta. So as we continue to restore ourselves, right, there's less thoughts, less emotions, less friction. Think of what friction does mechanically to things. The least amount of friction you want within your life, the better. Even if you are a mechanic. Send the elbows lower towards the floor. Use your exhale to get them there. Big inhale. And then releasing, breath out. Cool. Slowly take the feet. For the moment, I want you to lengthen them out. Straighten them out. In this position, chest up nice and high. You can take the palms, face them down, but the fingertips are pointing away. And I want you to use your arms to support the torso. Alright, we're here. Push the heels away, chest up nice and high. Take a breath in. And then draw the eyes to shut. So you're going to notice that the arms are going to support the upper body. So even if you have to lean back a little bit, go for it, but keep the chest rising. Remember, when you find perfect balance, it feels effortless. You're not swaying from one side to the next. The body's in flow. It's adapting. Not just to the internal forces, but the external forces as well. Similar to yoga, it's about finding that balance. Not physical balance, but all the balances between the mind, the emotions, as well as a little bit of physical, but the energetic. Feel the biceps rotate out to the front of the arms to get the chest to widen and release through the forearms and even the wrists. Big inhale. Releasing, exhale. Alright, so we're going to take, now you can take your bolster back, you can sit on a block, sit on the pillow just on the edge. I want you to take your left knee, place it straight on. Sit here. Yeah? Left knee straight on. You're going to take your right foot on top. Feel a little bit of a stretch in that hip. Just start that off. To support the knee, you can pull the toes back towards the knee. In this position here. Alright. So if you can see that, you want that knee nice and wide. You can sit upright if you'd like to start off with. Chest up, shoulder blades back, breathing in. And then the eyes closed as you exhale. There is some sort of agitation at this point, right? I want you to just let that agitation be present. Right? It's there. but I don't want you to focus on it. Put it off in the background, behind you, beside you, beneath you, above you, but not in front of you. We tend to put blockages up, things that we don't want, we put in front of our face so that we can't see forward. We can't move forward, like an obstacle. Similar to something you see on the road when you're driving or riding a bike. It's there. You don't stop at it if it's an obstacle. You tend to go around it, maybe over it, through it. Breathe in. And then slowly come forward as you exhale. So you can take the hands wide, you can take the hands forward, you can sit in this position here, and then observe again this right hip, the outer thigh starting to release, using your breath. If you want to accentuate this posture, you can take the left or right hand, press it down on the thigh or if the knee if you'd like, depending on where you want that release, and then focusing on the breath. But not trying to force it down, right? Just letting the weight of your arm guide it. But it's the hip that we're trying to release. The outside of the hip here, not the knee. As the hip generally controls what's happening with the knee, along with the ankle, which influences the knee as well. As you lower, take one more breath in, and then fold a little bit more in the exhale. And then come back up. Take the legs straight for a moment, chest up nice and high, breathe in, and as you release, come back to center, we switch sides. This time taking your right knee, bending it, then you're going to take your left foot on top of the thigh, maybe at the front, maybe higher, depending on the flexibility that you have with your hip. Toes pull back towards the knee, chest up, breathe in, and then the eyes shut again with a long exhale. So again, observing what's happening on the physical level from that left hip. But anything that is attached to that area, whether there's a thought that comes or associated with it, or an emotion, use the exhale to just flush it out. Don't be too worried about what that thought is or the emotion, but it's there, right? Something you've actually stored. So you were worried about it or you recalled it up until this point, but now I want you to just let it go. It's not necessary. It's not required. Relaxing the shoulders, the back of the neck lifts. And just observe the exhale, how it's starting to release and soften the hip area. Here you can come forward, either going forward and going wide. We're taking that left hand to the left knee. Breathe in again. Lower a little bit more on the exhale. And then slowly come back up. Lengthen your left leg to straighten. And really flex the quad for a moment. And then take both legs long. Wiggle them out a little bit. Get that circulation back. And then slowly take the soles of the feet to touch. Knees wide. This is your Baddha Konasana. So you can adjust the block on the bolster. So that we are here. Eyes shut. You can hook your hands around the knees or on top. And the chest is upright. We may have found some replenishment here, right? Restored the hips, the legs in some way, to a certain extent. Even if it's minimal, may still be profound. Your flexibility based from here and here. So with the eyes shut, continuation of your pranayama, your breath. Take one more inhale. And releasing the hands on the breath out. I want you to sit on your mat. You can place the block here in the middle of you. So you're going to take your feet in the shape of maybe like an open square, right? So almost 90 degrees, not necessarily here, but a little bit wider. Place a bolster, a pillow in the middle of your chests, but I want you to take your arms forward, right? Whether your shoulders go onto the insides of the knees, onto the elbows, or onto a pillow here. And I want you to take the palms, face them up on either side, and you're going to start to lower, right? Bring the chest closer to the floor, maybe getting the forehead to a block or bolster. And then breathing into that low part of your back. Here, feel that lifting coming forward as you inhale, and then surrendering, grounding you, centering into the floor as you exhale.
Take the breath a little bit deeper. Really stretch into the back body. Feel the back ribs and the lungs fill up to the sky as you inhale. And then relaxing, letting that energy flow all the way towards the tailbone as you exhale. One more breath in. And then slowly releasing the left shoulder as you exhale, just the left. Keep the right shoulder where it is. You're going to take this left knee, bend it at 90 degrees. Yes? If you need to put a pillow or blanket or towel or something underneath the inside of the left knee, if you're on the floor, go for it. Otherwise, we're going to take our right shoulder, we're going to lean into that right knee, lean into the right hip. And if it's not quite there, you can place a bolster here. I just place the arm in that position. Otherwise, we're here. And then that left arm, right? Take a breath, nice and high. You're going to reach for your right foot, if you can interlace your fingers, or interlace them, or grab the wrist, do that. And then just lower that left elbow towards the floor. So you begin to feel that right shoulder on the inside of the right knee. You're going to release the hip on one side and then the hip on the other. Different rotations or directions of the rotation. So is the thought of pain or suffering there? Or are you allowing it to overtake the focus on your breathing, your pranayama? I'm not saying to shut it out entirely. You wouldn't shut the mind out, but I want you to just know that it's there and continue to breathe, but not being affected by what you're feeling in that sensation. Again, because it's temporary. You're going through some suffering. In order to release the suffering, in order to restore yourself from suffering. Because once the suffering is gone, the pain is gone. So it's again removing the suffering from the mind, from the emotions, from the physical. Liberating yourself. Another deep inhale. And then slowly release, come back up. Exhale. So the right leg now. Yeah. Nice and straight. That left knee still bent. It's like a hurdle stretch. Take a breath in. You're going to take your left arm behind you. Alright. 30 centimeters away from that left hip. Nice and straight. So it's a support, right? Like a stake. Now I want you to sit. Balance yourself between the left and right side of your body, right? So try not to lean into the right hip more, or try not to force yourself into the left hip, but have the balance between the two. So you're centered and grounded through the tailbone. You can assist this twist, if you'd like, with the right hand on the outside or back side of the left thigh. I want you to breathe now between the left and right side of the hips, left and right side of the body, left and right side of your mind. Take one more full breath in, and then slowly come back to center. Exhale. Good. Right leg now goes straight. And then we're going to take that bend again. With the knees, chest wide. This time left shoulder on the inside of the left knee. Right arm can stay either behind your back, but ideally I want you to cross left side, breathe in, and interlacing the fingers or grabbing the ankle if that's the only bind you can get. And leaning into that left side as you feel the right shoulder pulling away from the right hip. Feel the left set of ribs getting closer towards the floor as the right set of ribs stretch away from the ground. One more inhale. And then slowly come up on the breath out. This time taking the left leg straight. You're going 90 degrees with that right leg. So this hurdle. All right. Point the toes and the right foot back towards the knee to support the joint. Again, if you need to sit on a block, sit on it. Sit on a pillow. This time take the right hand back in line with that right hip. And then finding the balance between the left hip and right side. So here's a chance to let go, right? Let go of any sort of suffering that's been stored within you. Any of the 4 dimensions of your mind. From the buddhi, ahankara, the chitta, and the manas. Draw one more inhale. Lean back a little bit more on the breath out. And then slowly take your time to come back up. Assist the knee. Assist the leg. Beautiful. So now we're here. Chest up nice and high. Take a breath in. We're going to come forward. Arms can go back if you want to rest your chest on your thighs. If you have a block or a bolster or pillow, go for it. If you want to take the forehead to the floor, that is an option as well. Right? Now relax the shoulders and the palms face up. Breathe in one more time. And then slowly come back up. Exhale. Beautiful. And we're going to sit butterfly, Baddha Konasana, whether you sit completely on the floor or on a block or bolster, pillow, whatever you like, go for it. Take the chest up nice and high, take a breath in, and then relax the shoulders as you exhale. Feel the spine start to lift, right? Everything from that spine is going this way, upwards. Just ask yourself, what is stopping you from fulfilling your life? Is it something external? Or is it something internal? Is it you? Breathe in. And then releasing. Exhale. So onto your back. Soles of feet still to touch, knees wide. Baddha Konasana, Supta Baddha Konasana. Your supinated butterfly posture. If you can elevate them, great. If not, that's fine. Otherwise, knees wide, hips connected to the floor, soles of feet touching, and then the palms face up. Now if you're experiencing a different sensation in the hips, still tightness, still soreness, whatever it is, I want you to just observe it, right? Having the most completely flexible hips with no pain is not perfect. It's not about searching for perfection. It's about progressing to get to where your body allows you to get to based on the energy that you input into it. Breathe in again. And then slowly bring the knees together as you exhale. Alright, so you're going to take, whether your feet are on the bolster or on the floor, I want you to take both knees to the left. So you're stacking one hip on top of the other. So it's a little bit of a twist. Just ensure that that right hip is directly above the left. You're not splaying the hips off the mat. They should be in the midline of your mat, which should be in the midline or in line with your spine. So the right shoulder is still pressed into the floor. The chest is wide. You're going to outstretch your right arm over your head. Right palm facing up. So push the right hand, draw it away from your feet. And then turn your head to the right. Big inhale. And then releasing, come back to center on the breath out. So knees back together, we switch sides, both knees to the right side. Stacking the left hip on top of the right. You can use your right hand to assist. And then the left arm goes up, palm facing the ceiling. take that shoulder, that hand as wide or as near as you need to, depending on the range of motion, the flexibility you have in that shoulder. Breathe in, stretch it out, and then release. Come back to center on the exhale. Alright, so now bring the knees to your chest. I want little circles in one direction and then the other. Take your left foot back to the floor, bend the knee, take your right leg high, bind the big toe, use a strap or a towel, or grab behind the leg somewhere, and then start to pull the leg nice and straight towards your chest. Feel the heel pushing away from your hips on the right hand side. That will ensure that you should be engaging the thigh, the front of the leg, in order to reciprocate a release at the back of the leg. Again, it comes back down to that balance. So in order to release the hamstring, the opposite side of that body or limb should also be inputting. Another deep inhale, and then slowly release, switch sides, breathe out. Whether it's the big toe or both hands on the sole of the foot, ankle, calf, knee, hamstring. Just continue to lengthen. Try not to compare or judge between the left and right side of the body because they could have totally different setups of how you move mechanically. Pulling the leg closer for one more inhale. And then relaxing. Exhale. So now take the feet wide off your mats, inside the knees. I want you to bring them closer together so that eventually they're touching, whether your feet are on a bolster, a pillow, or block, or completely flat on the floor. I want you to feel the knees squeezing together, relaxing through the hips so that they start to lower. And then squeezing the knees one more time. Take a breath in. Draw them towards the floor. Exhale. And as you release, you're going to take the legs to the sky. So if you have a bolster, a block, or pillow that you can place directly underneath your hips, if you don't have one, you can use your hands, but after time, you may not have any feeling in your hands. Otherwise, if you can balance. We begin to detox Begin to purify in this posture. So observe every thought as the same, somewhat neutral. Regardless if you think it's a bad thought or a happy thought, a joyful thought, it's still a thought. It's still something that is not present. Because eventually, you'll slow down these thoughts to maybe one thought, and then eventually no thoughts. It's just space. Breathe in, and then slowly lowering the feet to the floor as you exhale, pushing the blocker bolster away. Otherwise, we're going to come into Ananda Balasana, your blissful baby. So from here, you can grab the inner arches of each foot. So you can extend that to go into Halasana Plow, feet over your head if you like. Or you can just rock back onto the back. Slowly moving from side to side, taking your time to just observe. Right? We're restoring balance, replenishing the energy that you may think you didn't have, and rejuvenating your vitality. Inhale, and then release, Shavasana, breathe out. So as the toes roll off to the sides, the palms face up. Settle yourself into this posture, right? Eyes softly closed, and then you're observing your breathing, focusing possibly just in the middle of the forehead as you connect from one inhale to the next exhale. Then as you slowly awaken from Shavasana, take a long inhale through the nose. With a purifying breath out through the mouth. Start to move your fingers and toes, rolling out your wrists and ankles. And then stretching the arms overhead. Breathe in, lengthening. Exhale. With a slight bend in the knees, you're going to shift to the right side of your mat, using your arm as a cushion or pillow to guide you. And while the eyes remain closed, come to sitting posture, facing the front, leaving the hands to your heart space, Atmananjali Mudra, thumbs connecting to the chest. And within this space, we find joy, contentment, and gratitude. We'll seal it off with an Om. Inhale. Bow the chin, hands float, Ajna, third iris. Sachitananda Soham, Namaste. Cool, thank you very much for joining in to Guru Yoga or Ian Cariaga's Yoga. And yes, be sure to check into the other videos. Subscribe to our Crowdcast, Patreon site, as well as the guru.com website. Thank you so much. Namaste. Have a good night.